Keir Starmer's dishonesty is hardly news. If you ask people what the first example of this that springs to mind, many people will point to his infamous 10 pledges that he stood for election on. Each of them have been broken, several multiple times over, and in the most insulting way possible, most notably of late being the promise to strengthen trade unions and workers' rights, despite banning his MPs from picket lines and even sacking one of his shadow ministers over the fact they defied this. Labour is the workers' party after all, but not if it refuses to literally stand with workers. However, a somewhat overlooked little nugget of information came out this week in relation to those 10 pledges on LBC.
Text here from Caroline in Cottingham. Does the panel think Keir Starmer ever intended to stick to his 10 Leadership Manifesto pledges? And if Labour members can't trust him with this, why should the electorate trust him enough to make him Prime Minister? Seb.
I remember speaking to somebody who was involved in Keir Starmer's campaign, and if you remember, he did 10 pledges, which very much echoed what was in the Labour's 2019 manifesto. And I recall this person saying to me, look at those 10 pledges, there's not a single one of those that will tie our hands when we've won this leadership. And that was proven to be exactly the case. And I think the fact is that Keir Starmer, I think, was probably misleading when he ran that leadership. He ran on the platform of continuing what Mr Corbyn stood for, but promising to do it in a more professionalised way.
Sebastian Payne of the Financial Times admitting that he knew at the time Starmer made those pledges that his team were implying they'd never be kept, and that everything that has happened since bears out what he was told 2 years ago. Why do lamestream journos sit on this information? They sat back and let Starmer deceive people for votes and allowed him to win. Why? No doubt they were instructed to. Starmer was establishment. He was their chosen candidate, and the media helped engineer his win. The damage Starmer has done to Labour and in failing to oppose a hard-right, incompetent, corrupt Tory government is on them as well as the politicians. But it has also exposed Starmer was lying to us from before he even became leader. So nobody should expect him to be any different now.